up, Flosstube? It's Jerry Caudill, the Yankee Creek Stitcher, and I am back for Flosstube 22. It is Thursday, April, oh my gosh, April 4th. Crazy. Anyway, I am back a little bit earlier than I said I would be last week. I decided there's a few people that I follow on Instagram and that are Flosstubers as well, and they decided since they have such a busy May, there's a few of them that are teachers, since they're going to have a busy May, they wanted to still participate in Mania, but they're going to do it a month earlier. So I started doing my Stitch Maynia April 1st. And it has been so fun. I'm so excited because I've pulled out a lot of charts that I've had for a while that I've really wanted to get started, but just other stitches have taken priority for one reason or another. But a lot of them are fall themed. So I'm going to share with you what I have started and stitched on a little bit for the first, well, I haven't stitched on it yet, but the chart I have for today. So the first 4 charts for April. I had already pulled 31 charts because I had anticipated starting for May. So I have 31 charts, and I think the 31st chart I am going to stitch on May 1st to make it an official Mania start. So that's my plan. So I'm going to share with you what I'm using the Tiny Decisions app on my phone. So I've got all 31 charts loaded into that. So if it's, I try to spin it at night, so I know what I'm looking to for the next day, because my LNS, the finishing touch, is having a 15% off sale this week. So I'm thinking if I spin a chart that I think I'm going to need to floss for, I could run over there this week. So I spend it in the evening so I can plan my next day. So it's been fun thus far. I am sharing on Instagram each chart that I'm starting each day. A couple of them, maybe just one, I had actually showed my stitching on the one, and I had posted that I will update how far along I got stitched each day on my Flosstube this week. So with the new starts, and then Jen Lee with Quirks and Stitches, her 24-hour stitch-a-thon starts tomorrow at 4 p.m. And I had decided that I was going to stitch on some of my whips. Not any of my Christmas or winter themed ones. I'm going to try to save that for July. I want to do kind of a Christmas in July type thing. So I'm going to share with you the whips I plan on working on. I'm hoping to get, if it's 24 hours, I know at least a baby shower Saturday. So I get up at 4:30 every morning for work. So I know I'm not going to be able to do 24 hours, but maybe, I don't know, 15 to 18. I would like to do it just to say I did it, but I'm not going to join officially. There's some different links that she had shared. I'm not on Facebook, so I'm not part of that Facebook group, but I plan on Instagram to post each hour. Well, I don't know how often I'm gonna change it. So I don't know if it's gonna be every hour I'm gonna work on a different whip, or every 2 hours work on a different whip. Jen had mentioned her and her mother, they had watched the show 24. I've never watched 24, but it is 45-minute episodes. You know, if you have the disc, it's 45-minute episodes, and then they took a 15-minute break to get their next project prepped and ready for the next hour. So I may, since I'm working on whips, stitch for a couple of hours. So I will update on Instagram my progress as I go through each whip. Okay, so day 1 of my, and the hashtag we are using is hashtag early Stitch Mania 2019. I know Stitching in Doodah, Shauna, it's oh gosh, I think it's Shauna teaches, okay, she's a kindergarten teacher. I forget her Instagram handle, but she's participating. Mischief Stitches, I think, is the other Instagram handle name that's doing it. I'm not sure if Donna is Chick with Yarn, or, oh, I'm horrible with Instagrams, but I think both Stitching and Doodah, Donna and Shauna, both are participating. So there's a handful of us. It's been fun. I'm loving it. Next year, I plan on doing, May's just too busy for me. We usually open our pool around Derby, the horse race in Louisville, Kentucky. It's the first weekend of May. We usually have open our pool around that time, and that's like official summer, so it's all yard work and everything from that point on. So May is just, it's too busy for me to do anything. So I think next year I am going to do Stitch Madness, March Madness in March. So anyway, my day one, I spun, and I dropped it. Let me grab it real quick. I spun, it was a new market release, and I want to do this as my wedding sampler. It is Brenda Gervais, Forever and Ever. I was so excited when I spun this for day one. I had, a couple of weeks ago, went through and matched up all my fabric for the charts. I didn't do the floss. I'm just grabbing the floss. You know, it's just one day worth of stitching, so I'm pulling out one or two colors that I figure I'm probably going to be able to stitch that day. Last night I only stitched for an hour and a half. I think the first day I got about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours in. So each day I'm pulling floss as I need it. So, you know, to floss up, to kit up each chart with floss, it would take up all my floss. So I'm using what I'm using that day and putting it back so that I'm able to pull for it the next time. And I'm marking on my little sheet. I have a sheet that has the date I started, the chart, the designer, the chart name, the fabric I'm using, and if I've made any substitutions for my floss colors, I make note of that here so that when I go back to work on it again, I know which floss I was using. So day one, Brenda Gervais, Forever and Ever. This was my progress. I thought I did pretty well. Got the right side of it down, and I am stitching this on 36 count Legacy. Thrilled with how quick this is stitching up. It is just flying right by. It's, you know, a lot of repeat, obviously a lot of repeats. So but I know I was able to pick out the green that I wanted, but I think I'm going to go get the called for colors for the flowers that are there. So thrilled with that. I was so happy I got that to stitch on early on. So that was day one. Day two, there's going to be a lot of crinkling in this video between this, and I'm going to show you my whips that I plan on working on. Day two was Sammy Scarecrow, and this is from Pickle Barrel Designs, and this was in the 2015 Just Cross Stitch magazine. But here is Sammy all stitched up. He's so cute. 4 little parts, and I plan on finishing him in 4 little parts just like that. I just think that's adorable. So cute. Just a little unique finish. So on day two, I was wanting to get more done, but my time ended up being kind of limited. This is on a 32 count, very wrinkly. It's a package that you can get at Hobby Lobby. I had gotten it when I first started cross stitching there last year, and I wanted to do the tea and coffee dyed. I love the primitive look, so, you know, I just grabbed that. I think it's like a 32 count, maybe a raw linen, whatever. But I thought that would be so cute to stitch that scarecrow on. So I did get his little hat and the top of his head done. But I did go ahead because the stitches, it's such a small, like the head is a 28 by 24 count. So shouldn't take that long. So I went ahead and pulled all my floss for it. So I think I'm going to add these to my little whips for my 24 hours of cross stitch, because like I said, you know, you're limited each day on what's going on in life. So I would really like to get them stitched up because it should be pretty quick. Day 3, I spun Little House Needleworks Autumn ABCs. And my progress on it, I thought I did pretty well. I think I stitched an hour and a half on it last night. So I did go ahead and just choose the brown. I ended up using, oh, I left it in the other room. I ended up using General Arts Pecan Pie for my brown. I didn't have the called for, which was chestnut. So some of it I'm going to just use DMC for. It's such small little things that you have to stitch, so I'm not really worried about having the overdyed flosses for that. Oh, I'm doing that on a 36 count Color and Cotton, the limited edition fabric or linen that we got in the Christmas box, holiday box theme that they had. So that was 36 count. And then what I spun for today, oh my gosh, I was so super excited because I've had this chart for a while. Oh, I was so excited to get to stitching on it. It is La-Di-Da, Something Wicked. I love that. By the prickling of my thumbs, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Absolutely love that chart. So I was so excited when I spun the wheel and landed on that. I am stitching this on a 36 count Deep Pumpkin from Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty Purcell. She has beautiful fabric. I love stitching on it. Such a beautiful orange. And the boot, which of course is the main piece in that stitch, I am going to stitch in Weeks Dye Works Coal. It's a variegated black. You probably can't see it real well, but it's variegated between a black and gray and a little bit of a brown in there. So I think that's going to look awesome for her boot. So that will be what I stitch on this evening, and I cannot wait. Okay, so for 24 hours of stitching, and I will be updating each week. I'll be doing my little Flosstube each week to update my weekly progress. So I'll show you next week my progress that I got stitched on Something Wicked, and each day until next Thursday, and I'll share that with you. So this is my project bag for this one. Love this project bag. I have a bunch of this fabric and decided I have to make a project bag with it. So one of the whips that will be in my rotation for 24 hours of cross stitch will be Country Cottage Needleworks Bless Our Bless Our Home. And I don't think I've worked on it much since I shared it with you the first of the year. This is on a 28 count even weave that I tea and coffee dyed. So I'm hoping to be able to touch all of these, even if it's just for 1 hour. The second one is in my little chicken bag. And this is the inside of it. This is Stacy Nash Primitives. Miss Baxter's house. And I don't know if I had showed you the last progress that I made on. I have stitched a little bit. I might probably did. This is on 36 count legacy. I've got some of the roof, got all of the top border. I love this chart. Like I said, I at least want to stitch on all of these for an hour or two. There seems to be a lot of excitement with the 24-hour stitch-a-thon, so I think it's going to be really cool. The other chart I'm going to work on is spring, the Seasons in Chalk art spring. It's so close. And I had stitched exclusively on this for a couple of weeks, and so I was to the point of like, okay, I gotta switch it up. So when, like I said, when they mentioned they were going to do early Stitch Mania, I was like, yes, I'm ready to start some new things, since I'd only been working on whips. Now this is a whip I have worked on. I was trying to get this chart done before I kicked off early Stitch Mania. It was a freebie chart that I received from Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy on Flosstube. I had won this from her. It's from a magazine that she just tore out, folded it, mailed it to me. Loved it. It's from Crosswing Collection. It's called First Encounter. A couple little chickadees on there. But I don't have my start date of when I started stitching on this, but it was a whip from 2018. But I stitched quite a bit on it the past week. I don't think I had any of the birds stitched. I didn't have any of the berries stitched. The 3 leaves that are this color, I didn't have any of those stitched. So I stitched quite a bit on this. I was wanting so bad to get this finished before I started early Stitch Mania, but I didn't. But I was happy with the progress that I did make. That's going to be so pretty. And the project bags I have on this one is, I had gotten these off of Amazon. They're a little more, they're thinner than the project bags I got from the Container Store. They're still like the, you know, pretty transparent. So a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller. So I ended up getting some more from the Container Store when we was up there recently. The other whip I have pulled out to work on is Ink Circles Northwoods. And Pam, with Pam and Steph, Just Keep Stitching, she is actually stitching on this as well. I haven't stitched on it a lot. I initially started this stitching on this on my roller frames, and I've always stitched in hand, and I thought, well, since it's so tedious, because this is on 40 count fabric, I thought, well, I just, you know, thought I had to put it on there. But I have taken it off. I haven't stitched on it yet since I've taken it off the frames. So I'm anxious to see how it will go, just stitching this in hand. It's a pretty tedious pattern, pretty detailed, but I love it. I love the chart. I think this is a 40 count Confederate gray that I'm stitching it on. So I'm so excited and anxious to stitch on some of these, because a lot of them I haven't stitched on in quite a while. This is my project bag that I'm using for autumn at Hawk Run Hollow, and I haven't stitched on it for months. And this is what it looks like. I am stitching it in this layout here. Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. And I haven't made any progress since I last showed this to you, but This is just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. So like I said, I'm so excited to put some more stitches in this one. I am using all of the called for DMCs for it as well. Just making a big old mess. That's the bad thing about doing these Flosstubes, is you try to, you know, expedite it, and then everything ends up in a big old pile at the end. The other one, and I haven't, oh my gosh, did I stitch on it at all? I did. This has been a very long time. I don't even have a start date on it, but it is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. I think, as you can tell, a lot. I have been anxious to stitch on fall and autumn things. Halloween Quaker. I do have the murky. I have the 36 count picture this plus murky. So gorgeous. I just love this chart. And I think this was the first time I stitched on it, the progress I made, and I haven't stitched on it since. But I'm so excited to, because it's going to be a gorgeous stitch. Fabric is just beautiful. Okay, oh, my project bag for that is the teal orange pumpkins. And that's my inside. And the last whip I have, and I haven't worked on it for a while either, is Splendor Autumn by Saving Grace's Fine Needle Arts. This was in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, October of 2016. So that it's obviously printed in black and white on green paper. It is a beautiful autumn. It's orangey yellow leaves all through here. It's just gorgeous. This is a white pumpkin and an orange pumpkin. It's a beautiful chart, and I don't have a start date on it either, but you know, it's detailed. You have to really, you know, pay attention to all your stitches and where you're at. Let's see. Oh, it's this way. Trying to figure out my orientation here. But this is on 28 count even weave that I tea and coffee dyed. Still really wrinkly, but the oranges and yellows, I just love that. So that is my plans to stitch on for 24 hours of cross stitch. And I'm wanting to stitch as long as I can, but like I said, I get up early. Might have to take me a nap. But I'm going to stitch as long as I possibly can. So I'm excited about that. Excited about all my new starts for the month of April. But I wanted to update you on my progress for the month so far, and I will be back next Thursday to share with you how far I progressed and each of the charts that I've decided to start this month. So I will see you next Thursday. Everyone have a great week.